जी समिट पै व्यायक सीईओ अमिताभ कांत भारत లో అమెరికా రాయబారి కెన్నెత్ జస్టర్ సిఎస్ ఎస్పీ సింగ్ మాట్లాడుతున్నారు లైవ్ చూద్దాం.
We have a vast number of sessions over the plenary participants will join dozens of other session speakers and experts, and we'll have over close to about 1,500 entrepreneurs, investors and supporters of entrepreneurship from more than 150 countries and territories across the world. This summit has introduced a mobile application to enable seamless networking among all the registered delegates. A wearable device interlinked with the app is also being provided to all delegates for use during and after the summit. So far, 1,500 delegates have downloaded the app. 20,000 profiles have been viewed, 4,000 messages and 6,000 business cards have been exchanged, and almost 500 meetings have already been set up as of yesterday evening. In addition to entrepreneurs, we'll have from across the globe to share their incredible stories and innovative projects. There'll be, as I said, we'll have ministers and we'll have very distinguished speakers here. We'll also have with us on the concluding day the Minister for Commerce and Industry, Mr. Suresh Prabhu, who will moderate a very fascinating panel discussion on Women Win, We All Win, promoting inclusive environments for women entrepreneurs. As all of you are aware, pushing for and providing greater impetus to women entrepreneurship is the key to India. It's critical for India's growth, and therefore this theme comes at a very crucial juncture where the government of India has laid so much of emphasis and focus on Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, and a vast number of other schemes on women as well. In addition to the huge amount of networking and the huge amount of pitching and the huge amount of interaction that will take place, we will take this opportunity to showcase the immense travel and tourism potential of India, particularly of Telangana. The first evening, a dinner is being hosted at Falaknuma Palace, where all the delegates will go there. The second day, we have another heritage site, the Golconda Fort, where we'll have another great evening to be spent there. And I will now request His Excellency, the Ambassador of the United States, to give his opening remarks, and then the Chief Secretary, and thereafter we'll open it up for discussions.
Well, thank you very much, Amitabh, and you've really covered the waterfront, so I'll have just a few additional comments. I appreciate all of the information that you imparted. First of all, it's delightful to be here in Hyderabad. This is my first event and major event as U.S. Ambassador. I only arrived in the country about 11 days ago, presented my credentials on Thursday of last week, left on Sunday for Hyderabad. So here I am, and it couldn't be a nicer place to be in a greater event. In my view, this is the Global Entrepreneurship Summit is really just another very significant sign of the strong partnership that the United States and India have across a broad range of issues, including economic issues, entrepreneurship, innovation, how we can help women, youth obtain jobs and advance prosperity in our countries, but not only for our countries, but working together for countries around the world. As was mentioned, there are going to be representatives from over 150 countries at this summit, and so it's going to be quite an extraordinary event. On behalf of the U.S. government, I want to thank the government of India for all of the excellent work they've done. The Ministry of External Affairs, Niti Ayong and its CEO, Mr. Kant, have done excellent work, and we appreciate it. Also, the Telangana government, we thank you, Mr. Chief Secretary, and others of the government, and the city of Hyderabad, which is also, as you can see, really put itself out to make this a great success. In addition, I want to thank our mission here in India, folks in Washington, D.C., and really partners throughout the world that have come together for this event. As was mentioned, this year, obviously, the focus is going to be on women entrepreneurs, women first, prosperity for all. We think it's critical that women who represent a significant part of our population also represented in the business world, and that we try to develop a community with networks, with mentors, with finance, with market opportunities that can help advance women entrepreneurs and promote innovation generally. As you all know, Ivanka Trump, who's a woman and an entrepreneur herself and the advisor to the president on these and other issues, will be leading the U.S. participation, but she'll also be joined by our administrator for the U.S. Agency for International Development, Mark Green, by the CEO of the Overseas Private Investment Corporation, Ray Washburn, and by the U.S. Treasurer, Jovita Carranza. And there'll obviously be many more American entrepreneurs here, and we're really excited by the enthusiasm that we've had throughout the country. I think there are going to be representatives from 38 states of the United States present, which is the largest contingent we've had at any of the 8 entrepreneur summits. As was mentioned, they're going to be focusing this year on certain key sectors, energy and infrastructure, digital economy and financial technology, healthcare and life sciences, and media and entertainment. Those will cover a lot of ground, but we really want to have networking within those sectors especially. Once again, let me just conclude by what I started with, how important this is as a symbol and a tangible sign of the very strong and strategic partnership between the United States and India. Already we've had significant visits. We recently had Secretary of State Tillerson, before that Secretary of Defense Mattis. The National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster has been here. The President has met President Trump with Prime Minister Modi on 2 occasions in Washington on June 26, which was a terrific set of meetings, and then more recently in Manila in the Philippines during the President's trip to Asia. And this summit is just another step as part of that partnership. And as I mentioned, it's an example not only of what we can do together, but how the United States and India can work to promote global issues and solutions as well. So let me stop there. I'm delighted to take questions and turn the floor over to the Chief Secretary.
So we've had a very, very collaborative and a very positive partnership with the government of Telangana. I mean, they've been truly outstanding, and I've had, every time I've come here, I've seen the Chief Secretary, and in particular, you know, I would also like to compliment the Nodal Officer, Mr. Jayesh Ranjan, and Gary, who's been collaborating with us. All of them have been truly outstanding, and we've had a really great relationship with them. So all matters of logistic support, we've got all the help, and I turn to the Chief Secretary of Telangana.
Thank you. Thank you, Sri Amitabh Kant, and thank you, Mr. Ambassador. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a matter of great pride and privilege for the youngest state of India, which is Telangana, to have got this opportunity and chance to co-host with Government of India, Niti Aayog, and Government of US such a prestigious international event in Hyderabad city, which, as Mr. Ambassador pointed out, is a very thriving city, having all the characteristics of an international city. And definitely hosting such an event successfully would add a feather in our cap, and we are extremely grateful to Niti Aayog and Government of India and Government of US for having chosen Hyderabad as the city for hosting such a mega event, an international event. On behalf of Government of Telangana, I would just like to inform that we are providing all the logistics support which are required for successfully hosting this event, whether it is accommodation or it's the transportation or it's a reception or it's a security. The entire, as all of you know, we have digged up our infrastructure and in the city for hosting this event. All the logistics arrangements are in place, and we have put a huge number of both police and civil personnel to assist Niti Aayog in hosting this event successfully in Telangana, and I'm absolutely sure that this event will be conducted in the most successful and very efficient manner. On behalf of Government of Telangana, as Mr. Amitabh Kant said, we are hosting a gala evening, a reception evening at a very historical heritage site of Golconda Fort, where we would like to offer the delegates an array of cuisines from Telangana as well as India, and I'm sure they'll be delighted to participate and to attend the event. Along with that, we are also putting together a show showcasing the rich heritage, rich traditions of art and culture of Telangana, which is the newest state, as I said, and I'm sure this event will
I've called someone, please. Yeah.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ambassador. My question is for you. Moody's has recently improved the rating for India. Considering the changes made by the Government of India and the RBI, would the US be willing to increase its investments in India?
Thank you for that question, and I do want to really compliment the Prime Minister in significantly moving India up the ladder in terms of ease of doing business. It's a very important part of the economic reform process, and obviously will help encourage U.S. investment. Investment decisions are made, however, by the private sector, not by the government, so it's really driven by the marketplace, and what I've been very impressed about in my time already in Hyderabad versus the last time I was here, which was in 2004, is the enormous amount of U.S. investment that has come into this city. Major U.S. technology companies with significant hubs here, and this city, I think, is a model for ease of doing business. I mean, I heard this morning about how there's a time period of 15 days on approvals with a presumption of approval if an item is not acted upon, how officials are held accountable for their actions. And so I think this is a model for the rest of the country. And as I said, when you see this type of reform process undertaken, the response by the private sector is increased investment. So that's what we've seen in Hyderabad, and I hope that's what we'll see elsewhere in the country as well.
Okay. CNBC.
Mr. Ambassador, thank you so much for taking the question from CNBC TV 18. I'm Bithiri. You did mention that the strategic ties between the two countries were very strong, and for the first time we're seeing the GES not just come to India, but we're co-hosting that with the United States. So talk to us about how exactly this will help further the business and economic partnership between the two countries.
Okay, well, I do think this is an important part of the overall strategic partnership. And in my own view, the economic relationship should be as strategic as the security relationship. India should try to see itself over time as the anchor for U.S. business and investment in the Indo-Pacific region. And that will only give greater ballast to our overall strategic partnership. It will make sure that the U.S. presence in this region is a long-term one and that we're here in full force. And I think this conference is simply an important step in that process. Here we are working together to promote innovation. I mean, we have two of the most innovative societies. We're democracies, we share values, and we really put a high premium on the individual ability to innovate, and also promoting women entrepreneurs, which is equally critical. And together that generates more jobs, both in your country, in our country, and worldwide. And as I said in my opening remarks, it also allows us to work together with other countries on these issues. So I think it's an important example of what we can do together. of why the economic aspect of our relationship is as strategic as the security and other aspects, and a key part in the overall relationship. Thank you.
Yes, please.
I'm Sakshi from CNN News 18. My first question is to Mr. Ambassador. We all know it's a huge...
By the way, you can also ask my other two colleagues up here.
My next question is for him only. First is regarding Ivanka's visit. We know there's a lot of security issues with that. But if you can a little bit elaborate, apart from GS, any other sightseeings, or what will be her plans in the city, if you can throw a light on that. And specifically on the panel discussions that she will be participating, what will be she highlighting on?
Well, I have not had a chance to speak to her most recently because I've been here in India, but she will be opening the GES summit with the Prime Minister. I know she looks forward to that tremendously, and will also be appearing on a panel on Wednesday morning. I don't have any other specific plans to talk about at this time, but I think that she is tremendously excited to be in Hyderabad, and looking forward to it, and I hope you're looking forward to her. And as I said, she epitomizes someone who is not just a woman, but a very successful entrepreneur, so it's a terrific.
Second question is for Amitabh Kantji. So how much business is India expecting from this entire summit? What kind of business deals can we expect that can happen here?
Well, this is not an investors meet. We are not looking for investments. We are trying to create the best ecosystem for entrepreneurship. We are trying to create an ecosystem for startups, for disruption, for innovation. What we are trying to do is to put together the best entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, 400 from America, 400 from rest of the world, and 500 from India, so that they can meet with a lot of investors, they can interact with each other, they can learn from each other, and they can do a lot of pitching for investments. We are creating an ecosystem where we can do a lot of disruption in ecosystems across different countries, learning from each other. The objective is really to drive entrepreneurship. We are doing a lot of things in India. We are disrupting our school education system through tinkering labs. We are creating a lot of incubation centers. A lot of that work is happening in Telangana through T-hubs. It's our objective really to provide a greater impetus, a greater push towards this. It's not about bringing in investments right now. It's about creating an ecosystem where young people become great job creators rather than job seekers. And it really converges and integrates with the startup policy and the innovation policy of Government of India.
If I could just supplement what Amitabh said, because I think it's so important, and I say this as someone who worked in the Bay Area technology world for almost 6 years. The importance of bringing people together to create this network and ecosystem, to have people with finance, people who are developers, people who provide market access, people again who are peers to share ideas, is what's so critical, and I think what's so important about this type of event. And again, areas where both the United States and India can be leaders on throughout the world.
So if you look at the 4 broad subtopics of energy and infrastructure, healthcare, digital, media and entertainment, we have close to about 53 sessions, and we have some of the finest speakers from across the world and from India. I mean, people who've made a remarkable difference in terms of innovation, in terms of learning, in terms of digitization, in terms of crowdfunding and bootstrapping, in terms of mobility infrastructure, in terms of alternative financing solutions, all of them. So there'll be a lot of 3 days of great content actually, where people can benefit from interacting with each other.
Hello.
That's through the app. That's through, we've given a Goki wearable to everyone, and actually you don't need to exchange cards. It all happens through the Goki wearable, and it's all linked directly to your mobile.
Thank you. Yes.
My name is Sudha Shrimali from Navbharat Times, Mumbai. My question is to Mr. Ambassador. This is the first time the summit is being held in Southeast Asia, in India. Why did you choose India? What do you hope to achieve through this partnership? Especially, how do you intend to help lift women prosperity in India?
Well, the selection of India was actually made last year by President Obama and Prime Minister Modi, but I think it's a natural because, again, when you look at countries that have a focus on innovation and entrepreneurship, the United States and India are two of the top ones, and also where there's growing opportunities for women and increasing participation by women in the economy. And I think we all know the salutary effects that that can have on economic growth and creation of jobs. So what we're trying to do is simply give further impetus to that trend to, as I said, bring people together, not just from our two countries, but from around the world, and really highlight the important role that women can play in the overall growth of our and prosperity of our economies, and to give it greater impetus. And that's really the goal.
Hello, my name is Rishika and I'm from NewsX, and I have a question to the ambassador here. Considering a majority of Indian population or significant amount of Indian population also works in the United States of America, and if we look at the recent stance of the president here on the visa rules, can we expect a platform like this would pave way to ease the situation there?
I'm not sure. In other words, you were saying a majority of Indians work in the United States?
A significant amount. I wouldn't say majority, but a significant amount of population works in the United States.
And is this conference if you could just repeat your question, I'm not sure I fully understood.
My question is, a platform like this, can
Right.
we expect some sort of, can we expect the situation to ease considering the recent tough stance of the president on the visa rules?
Well, the United States is doing a comprehensive review of its visa policy, and that has not yet been announced, and it's worldwide, so I can't comment on what the impact of that will be, and I don't think the conference was designed to worry about what the visa rules are, but it's simply to help generate entrepreneurship and innovation in both of our countries as well as others, which by definition will lead to greater job growth and perhaps people finding great jobs close to where they live and not looking elsewhere to pursue that.
Yes. Sir, Mr. Ambassador, I am Divakar from PTI, Press Trust of India. My question is, what is the impact of this summit on the bilateral trade between both the countries? In a way, what is in it for both the countries in terms of tangible trade figures?
Again, I hope I heard your question. What is in it for both countries in terms of tangible figures? Oh, in terms of its, again, as I think Amitabh was saying, we don't have a particular target in terms of what this does for trade or investment. What we're trying to do is stimulate innovation and job creation. This is not undertaken as a bilateral trade and investment summit meeting. It's really one that is to stimulate women's involvement in the economy, their efforts to try to start up new companies. Also, this is good for youth. I mean, there's a tremendous amount of our populations who are under the age of 35 who naturally look to startups and innovation as their way to create long-term employment. And those are really the main goals. It may have the side benefit of additional investment or trade, but we want to create the ecosystems that will lead to innovation that in the long term hopefully will solve some of the challenges we face as societies in the world.
Okay, we have time for two more questions. Dardarshan?
Ambassador, you said that this summit is essentially about creating an ecosystem to boost entrepreneurship. Indians working in the Silicon Valley on H-1B visas are entrepreneurs. Many of them are entrepreneurs. Is your government stand, your country stand contradictory when it comes to the H-1B issue?
As I mentioned, the government is undertaking an overall look at its visa policies worldwide. They're not focused on any one country. They're not just focused on H-1B visas. As you know, those visas are designed to help U.S. companies attract high-quality talent that they cannot otherwise find in the United States. But I don't see the H-1B visa policies, whatever they might be, as contradicting innovation at all. They're meant to help companies obtain the high-level talent that they need to help fulfill their own business plans and goals.
Yes.
Ambassador, this is Rizvi Nawaz from Bangladesh. Thank you, the US government, to invite us here to cover the event. My question to you, nowadays we are seeing that Asia, specific South Asia, Southeast Asia, has been drawn attention from the US government. Will you please tell us what's the reason behind this? Is this the reason that we have a very large middle class consumer, or something else?
I'm sorry, I missed the first. What is the reason behind what? The
Asia has been given priority to the US government.
Priority of South Asia? For the Global Entrepreneurship Summit?
Not this summit. Asia is been given priority.
Oh, why is that? Well, I think that that's a broader question about why are we trying to have a big Indo-Pacific policy, because this is the most dynamic region of the world. When you look at the population, a very significant part of the world's population is in the Indo-Pacific region. When you look at the economic growth and dynamism, it's a very specific, large part of the world's economic growth is here. And when you look at U.S. and India, we're both the major democracies that operate in the Indo-Pacific region. So for us, this is a critical area to the 21st century and the future of international relations, and therefore it's a very important focus for our government, I hope for your government, and for all the governments in the region, and a real opportunity for us to make sure that we have a rules-based Indo-Pacific region that focuses on freedom of trade, of navigation, of overflight, of commerce, and can really help promote prosperity and stability not only here but throughout the world. It, to me, is one of the great opportunities that India and the United States have to shape the Indo-Pacific in a way that will be good for all of us.
I have a question here, sir. Rishi from Business Line. The buzz in the air is about entrepreneurship and startups. Do you see this crystallizing into some sort of a corpus fund or something with the government, either of the government or both the governments coming together and creating some sort of a fund?
Actually, if you look back a little bit, when we started the Startup India movement, it was almost 2.5 years back, many of our startups actually used to go to Silicon Valley and they used to go to Singapore. But a vast number of policy changes have been made. You can today register a startup immediately on a mobile app. You get a 4-year tax exemption, which nobody else gets. 3-year tax exemption out of the first 7 year. We've created a fund of funds of 10,000 crores, which is operated by SIDBI. I don't think any country in the world has it, which supports a number of venture funds, and venture funds in turn support startups. I don't think there's a poverty of funds at all in India right now. There's a huge amount of funds available for startups. A vast number of investors from across the world who are investing in startups in India. And I think we just need many, many more startups, good business proposals, and funding will never be an issue in India.
One more question for CNBC.
Yeah.
Like this, of this standard, whether it's the World Economic Forum events, etc., happens in Delhi, across Bombay.
Yeah.
Why Hyderabad?
Well, first of all, let me tell you that the Prime Minister is very keen that a number of events move out, he feels that this is days of federal, great federal cooperatism, but also competitiveness. And why Hyderabad was selected, let me tell you, we ran a challenge process. And 5 states had applied for it, 2 states were shortlisted. There was competition, and on the sheer merit of it, Hyderabad won it. And then the proposal went to the cabinet, and cabinet approved it. So Prime Minister was very keen that it is held in Hyderabad. And we are delighted that the Government of India decided on this, that it will be held in Hyderabad. The city has great energy, it has tremendous vibrancy and a huge amount of dynamism, and we've greatly benefited from partnering Government of Telangana. We've got huge support from its administration.
Okay, thank you.
And, Telangana has emerged. When I said energy, I meant that it has emerged as the #1 on ease of doing business, and I hope it will continue to be #1. There's huge competition from other states now, so it will continue to be #1. There is, if you were to look at doing a great global conference of this nature, Hyderabad scores, it beats everyone hands down.
Thank you very much for coming. There'll be many more media opportunities.
Well, it's inauguration by the Prime Minister. Ms. Ivanka Trump is leading. She's coming as a guest to the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister has invited her.
Thank you very much. There'll be many more media opportunities during the week, so stay tuned.